another one, yeah. It's a full span, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Good evening, welcome. This is Hardtalk USC. I'm Neutral's Corner, and this is courtesy of iBoxingHub. In sponsorship with in conjunction with our sponsors, D-Rock Apparel and Clothing, please check out the website. Lovely stuff, as worn by the superstars of boxing. Joseph Parker there. Enjoy 40% off using iBoxingHub 24 in the discount code. There you go, some fantastic pictures to go along with that. Now, this is Hardtalk USA, and this is episode 6. The Curious Case of Roidyan Garcia, a billionth of a gram. I'm joined tonight. My first guest is the one and only Mr. Jules, Ring IQ, Ring IQ News. Roidyan, how you doing, sir?
Chilling. Just watching everybody go crazy over Ryan. You know.
Yeah, they certainly have. They certainly have.
It's just kind of weird what is snowballed into, because I never saw so many people rush to somebody's defense like this. The only time I could remember this happening like this was probably with Canelo when he pissed hot for the Clenbo. You know, there were a lot of people immediately, you know, they were defending him.
Oh, especially his haters. Yeah.
No, yeah, you know, so you know, it's just a little weird to see what it's turning into. That it's like, yeah, well, you know, but hey, you know, that's what we're here for, to talk about it.
That is. And just as you say that, we're joined by the one and only Eden Rocks, Mr. Roidyan Garcia's on Twitter space. Hype man, call him what you want, but Mr. Eden Rocks is with us. Big up, Mr. Eden Rocks, and thank you for coming on the show. Take the mute button off, sir. There you go.
Yeah, okay, I got that. I'm troubleshooting the rest of this StreamYard thing. I thought it was a space. So let me get
we're live, baby. We're live.
Okay, so you and I ain't using no camera. You got to pay extra for that. But you're neutral on my left, right?
That'll be me. Yeah, that's neutral.
You're neutral. And who's the other gentleman?
Corner boxing. This is Ring IQ.
Ring IQ. Okay, got it. And we're waiting. And who am I roasting? Not you guys. You guys are the ones on my side.
Well, you know, Ring IQ will not hold back whatever he thinks. So we're yet to determine that. So I'm pretty sure Remy will accommodate you when he comes on. And
right.
Our other guests later on as well will probably have, you know, some points to make. But that's the reason why you're here, Eden. You're here to give us Roidyan Garcia's point of view from his side of things.
There he is.
You know, there he is.
Yeah, Roidyan Garcia, the one standing up with his opponent's lying on his ass. Let me get my earbuds in, and I'll be right back. But I appreciate you in all seriousness. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite. Welcome, and hold on. I'll be right back.
Right, you'll be right back. In the meantime, we're still waiting for Remy. He'll be along shortly. Right, so let's go back, Jules. We're going to go back to when the fight was announced. Roidyan Garcia versus Devin Haney. What was your thoughts on this fight before all of this? Were you really surprised and shocked as everybody else was what happened in that fight?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought it was kind of a foregone conclusion. I thought it was a money play for Devin, right? It's a money play that Ryan is not really a decorated fighter. He's never been a champion at 135. He's never been a champion at 140. So if Devin, who has been a champion at 2 weights, is deciding to fight him, it's because it's a money play. You know, it's a profile fight that Ryan is very popular. You can say what you want about his boxing, but he does have a lot of social media presence. So if there's a virtue in fighting him, it's that. You know, he's doing it for the money. I didn't think that Devin would get beat up the way that he got beat up. He got beat up real bad, so that was really surprising. The weight stuff at the end, that really surprised me, though, that, you know, he came in 3 pounds over and all of that. And remember that was a whole controversy in and of itself, that he came in 3 pounds over. You know, that before it got to where it is now, there was a lot of harping about that. But no, I did not expect Devin to get beat up the way he got beat up.
The weight issue aside for now, right? Let's talk about Ryan himself. Now, has there ever been that? Not that I can remember, but maybe you might know, being over in the States. Has there ever been a worry or a concern or a hint of a story of Ryan Garcia ever popping or using before
Yes.
Devin Haney?
Yes, that was a year ago. Fight Hub did a story about it. I believe it was both Fight Hub and Fight Hype. They did a story about it with Gervonta Davis. You can look it up here on YouTube, where Gervonta said on both both channels that he suspected that Ryan Garcia is juicing. So to that effect, yes, there has been a story. Nobody really paid attention to it. They didn't think much about it at the time. You know, some people interpret it as nerves from Gervonta. I saw people saying that because up until that point, nobody had ever said anything like that. But a year ago, before he fought Ryan, he said, and, you know, I've even got the screenshots, but you can go to the videos yourself, too. All you got to do is put it in the search bar, that he suspected that Ryan Garcia was juicing. So there has been at least one story, or at least two stories if you count both videos. There has been a story about Ryan juicing in the past. It just wasn't verified.
Right. So taking that into consideration, and Devin Haney would have obviously been aware of this as well. Going into up until from 26th of February to the 3rd of April, VADA had tested Ryan on numerous occasions with this, or what can only be imagined would be the same test that they did on the 19th and 20th of April. Now, are we to say that, right, because Ryan's been caught with, according to Victor Conte and on Devin Haney, 60 nanograms of ostarine in his system at the point of testing, right? Now, my point to that is, why would Ryan Garcia, in all seriousness, with the resources and the money and all the rest of it, why would his team or whoever is advising him to do this would pick the lowest to the mid on what is known as is labeled in gyms all around the world in bodybuilding as the poor man's PEDs? Now, this is the questions that I've got. 60 nanograms is a lot. If what Victor Conte and Devin Haney is saying is true, and my God, that's so over the limit, that can only mean one thing. So are we to say, okay, sorry a minute. Oh, that's it. Hello? Right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right. So why would he use such a low grade PED? And obviously you have to take a masking agent with that. So I just don't understand. I just don't understand the mythology and going for such a low grade PED, only to know he's getting tested on the 19th and 20th of April, which he's paid for to his VADA, knowing he's going to get tested by the NYSCC on the fight night and the day after. So he's basically going to have 4 tests in 3 days. I just don't see how that adds up. And if it is an ostarine, and he has been, and the B sample comes in and it is that, he's cheated. But ostarine, what do you think?
I think that the whole thing here is that, listen, he's not the first fighter that tested positive for ostarine. I've seen many fighters test positive for that same performance enhancing drug. Amir Khan, he did. It didn't come out until a year after the Kell Brook fight, but he tested positive for ostarine.
He did.
Alexander Povetkin, after he had already tested positive for meldonium, which is a newer drug and more designer, right after that, when he was going to fight Bermain Stavern, He tested positive for Osterin. Lucien Bute, when he fought Badu Jack, he tested positive for Osterin. So, in those situations, I didn't mince very many words about it. I didn't give them the benefit of the doubt. The fact of the matter is, this is in your system, and it's not up to me to understand why it's there. It's up to you to explain it. The burden of explaining what is going on is not on the spectators in a spectator sport. It's on Ryan, because you're the one who's under strict liability for whatever you ingest. Whatever you put in your body is up to you. That means if you're on a supplement regimen, you have to send it out to a lab. You have to have it researched. You have to have it looked at before it's safe for you to take it.
And VADA offer that service.
That's what I was going to say, that it's my understanding that VADA offers that service free of charge. I forgot that they do that. If you're on a supplement regimen, you take zinc, a vitamin A, whatever it is, you can send out those supplements to VADA, and they will test them for you for free so that it's safe for you to take it. So ultimately, when I think about the drug that they found in him, right, that it's Osterin, it doesn't strike me as odd, because, yeah, people can say it's the poor man's pet and this and that, but you know what? I've seen at least 5 fighters test positive for that drug. Is it cross-contamination? Is it deliberate usage? I don't know. They're the ones that have to explain that, because they found it in them. They didn't find it in me. It's not up to me to explain it for you. You have to explain it,
All right, let me jump back in here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm all set up now. Okay, I want to jump in here. So this gentleman here, Ring IQ. Okay, you're talking about it's up to them to explain it, but you were just talking about storytelling. Is this storytelling hour? Are you referring to they got to explain what these results say? Is that a story? You were just talking about stories. You've heard stories of these other PEDs. So is this story time? They got to explain stories? Didn't the commissioner resign? What do we know about, like, is this Ring IQ story time? Or is this like an actual thing? Because I'm a spectator. I'm the avatar, the champion of the casual observer. So I don't know what you are saying from any other kind of story. So, like, you're making some kind of appeal to authority, but I'm just not buying it, because you got the commissioner resigning already. You got a PED that's just the weakest sounding PED. Ostrich? Really? Ostrich? Well, where's the freaking beeferin? Where's the musclerin? Ostericin? What even is that? So my question to you, is this story time? Because you want to hear the stories I heard about Ring IQ? If we're doing story time, oh man, I could entertain you. I could regale you with the Ring IQ stories I heard in the last week. But so are we doing story time, or are we talking facts? Because it doesn't look good. So how's that?
Is it my turn? Because if it's my turn, and you have to resort to personal attacks because I mentioned matters of fact. Those are not story time stories. Those are not.
Well, you were saying before that, you were saying stories. You heard stories.
Did I interrupt you at any point when you were talking?
Well, no, but I was fixing my stuff.
I didn't do. No. I didn't do that. I heard you out. Act like an adult, because you sound.
Oh, all right. So this is like town council boxing talk. It's all official, like. All right, I got it. Back to you.
So you want me to talk over you? Then I can do that too.
Well, that leans more into like my skill set, so that's up to you.
Just because you decided to become Roidyan Garcia's roadie, that doesn't exonerate him of guilt. Nothing I said is a matter of opinion. Everything I said is a matter of fact. And one of the guys that I mentioned, Alexander Povetkin, he had a 2-year suspension because he tested positive for the same drug that your boy just tested positive. What do you have to say about that? Nothing, right? I didn't think so. I'm
trying to figure out my freaking mic here. I'm just trying to figure out what story time.
You yourself just admitted you're a casual, right? You're a casual. You don't even watch boxing. You just said that, right? You're a casual. So how are you trying to tell
Well, of course I'm a casual.
I already know.
Because I know what I know.
What do you know then? What do you know?
Yeah.
I know how to make your show that I've been in. Well, I don't know whose show it is. I know it's Neutral's show.
It's not my show, buddy.
All right.
My show.
Well, I know how to make a show where you're droning on and on, listenable. That's what I know, which implies that I understand the psychology of the audience far better than somebody like you does. And you're the one talking about story time, which is pretty casual. By the way, Ring IQ. I had a story about you. You took a crap hole and you put it up. The story I heard about you doing story time. Back to you.
You cannot actually defend Ryan, so all you can do is do ad hominem attacks. You're mad that I brought up matters of fact. I didn't even attack Ryan. I didn't say anything about Ryan. I didn't say anything about Ryan.
You're breaking up.
Already a matter of fact.
Just a minute, son. You're breaking up there, mate. So, you know, obviously, we can only stick to the facts. The facts say that a certain amount, we don't know what, because at the end of the day, Devin Haney and Victor Conti have come out with exactly the same sort of plagiaristic talk about amounts and all the rest of it. And then Ryan comes out with billionth of a gram. So are these reading off the same test, or do you think Ryan has another test that he's had that he's talking truth from? Because there's such a massive difference in between what Ryan says and what Devin Haney says. So the samples have been done, but no news is being released, obviously, until the 22nd of May when the B sample's done. The B sample's not going to show any different, because 99.9 times out of 100, they come back the same result. Aidan, how does Ryan, and it's a theoretical question, how does Ryan, you know, from what I've been always advocating at this point on, what looks like contamination, and if it comes back that, unbeknownst to Ryan, he's got 60 nanograms in his system, which is like, I don't know, 60 times over the limit. How does Ryan come back for that on a social level, or a social media level?
He doesn't need to come back from anything. He's on top. He's got Shaq. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about this. I just saw it today. Shaq is doing, like, he's copying Roidyan Garcia's style, right? And doing some kind of a quote-unquote diss track. I forget who he did it on. Over Haney Pack, over the Garcia song, right? Like, it's a big network already. So Mr. Roidyan Garcia, who has plucked me out of the crowd to be a cast member, part-time co-host on his show, is now setting all the trends in a very conspicuous segment of all of pop culture. The guy's entrenched. As with regards to the testing and what it says, I mean, there's going to be teams upon teams of people clarifying what actually went down. Now, what I already know is, since the original news dropped, and I know this as a professed casual observer, I'm a pop culture connoisseur, a trained performer, clearly. But even as a casual boxing observer, okay, in the week since the news dropped, one of the tests for the other substance has been completely nullified. What's up with that? And the commissioner of the NYSAC has resigned, chose that time this week to resign. It's kind of like, that's just such a crap show. And how about, and I'm just kind of going, you know, all the talking points here up front, which we'll return to when the other guests show up. I would assume we're going to do that. But what about Haney and I'm making up these figures, but you guys know what I'm saying here. Basically, we get the news. The whole rest of the world gets the news. He popped, right? And then there's a Haney prepared statement. And then I believe it's the same night or the night. Then there's a Haney interview on ESPN already making the rounds dancing on the man's grave. Like this is a bunch of nonsense. This is like a bunch of freaking smoke. Like I don't know what's going on. How's he going to come back? How is the opposition going to come back from how bad they look? Would be I would flip the question and throw it back to you,
Jules.
How does he come back? Well, unlike the casual that's in the panel, I would say that the punishments for banned substances in the sport of boxing have never been all that harsh to begin with. So at the very worst, Roidyan Garcia probably gets a 6-month suspension and comes back on the same schedule that he would have came back before any of this happened, which is what I said from the beginning, that the punishments for fighters that test positive for banned substances in boxing, and especially in America, they've never been all that harsh. So there's not a lot to come back from, which is what I've maintained. That it's not a huge deal, believe it or not. I mean, look at Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller tested positive for 4 banned substances before the Joshua fight. Then he tested positive for 4 more when he was going to make his top-ranked debut. He didn't really get much of a penalty for the first one, even though he should have. He was still allowed to come back. They gave him a second shot. They didn't even do anything to him. And because of the second time he tested positive, okay, well, now you're banned for 2 years. That it took for him to test positive for 4 banned substances 2 times before they did anything about it. So when I see Ryan's situation, I just think to myself, at the very worst, you get a year reduced down to 6 months, provided you cooperate with an anti-doping protocol, because that's what they normally do in this situation. They've done it to other fighters. They would likely do it to him. Reduced down to 6 months, and you end up coming back when you would have came back anyway. Because what's 6 months in the sport of boxing?
Oh, yeah, it's just
the average. It's the average span of time in between fights for fighters who don't.
Especially these days, anyway. Yeah, especially these days. But what do you say to those? As you're a realist, but what do you say to those Garcia detractors, haters, and all the rest there that will forever tag him, whether it's through contamination or cheating? How does that affect him in his money going forward into other fights? Will he become less of a PPV draw?
No, I mean, I've said this on my own channel a billion times. Boxing fans don't care about PEDs. Case in point, Tyson Fury tested positive for nandrolone. You know this. He tested positive for nandrolone years ago after the Klitschko fight. Is that going to stop anybody from watching him fight for Undisputed? No, we're all still going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. You're going to watch it. The people in the chat are going to watch it. That's reality. So do I think that Ryan testing positive for a banned substance is going to hurt his money? No, because it didn't hurt Canelo's money. He tested positive for clenbuterol. He's literally bigger now than he was before he tested positive for clenbuterol.
Yeah, that's so true.
So I don't think it's as big a deal as people make it out to be, but I also don't think it's as small a deal as people make it out to be. You, like Canelo, like Tyson Fury, and like every other fighter that's ever tested positive for a banned substance, for the rest of your career, there are going to be people who bring it up. Regardless of what comes out, they're going to bring it up whenever it suits them. Just like the Mayweather IV. They bring that up whenever it suits them. Just like Canelo's clenbuterol, or Conor Benn's eggs, or Alicia, but they're going to bring it up whenever it's convenient. It's an occupational hazard. Take your lumps because you're not above it. Bigger names than you have tested positive for banned substances, and they got to deal with it. You got to deal with it.
Eden, what does this stain on Ryan's record, his reputation? I don't think his social media has been hit at all. He seems to have gained a couple of million followers in this time. But what do you think Ryan will think of his conviction? If and when it should happen, do you think that will bring him down mentally?
Well, to answer that question, I absolutely don't think he'll get phased at all. Instead of a stain let me offer up an analogy. I'll call it a flesh wound and a little bit of blood, right? A scratch that's drawn some blood. Well, I'm feeling kind of in an almsgiving kind of. I'm feeling generous, you know. I'm feeling full of the holiday kind of spirit, right? I'm thinking of the people like Ring IQ, right? So instead of like asking what kind of stain is it, okay, let the man bleed and let people like Ring IQ, the boxing nerds, have some kind of content to chew on. Let them take the blood, mix it up in a drink, and then they can go on and have something to talk about on their shows for years and years and years. And they can talk about what does it mean in the boxing nerd circle, the boxing historians, which is fine. You know, as a default position, I respect boxing, of course.
No, you
right?
don't.
And I respect the concept of course I do.
So you're saying it wouldn't phase him. You're saying basically his character
I wasn't trying
just
to
won't
my
let something
fabulous
like that
analogy.
bother him.
No, I will say this.
I
will say this neutral. If we're gonna, if I, at 41 years old, am gonna be subject to ad hominem attacks just because I'm stating the facts of the matter, I have a question for what's his name, Eden. Do you think if you kiss Ryan's ass on enough podcasts, he'll let you sit on his lap? Because that's what you sound like. You're a grown man.
Now you're playing my game, Mr. Ring IQ. Mr. Ring IQ. It's not entertainment IQ. It's not IQ. It's not game playing IQ. It can be Ring IQ all you want. Okay, first of all, I don't even need to bestow this knowledge upon you, but I'll let you know, I have stood up to Mr. Garcia a couple of times. He's run me from the panel a couple of times. So let me just go.
Because Ryan lets you talk on his spaces on Twitter. So because Ryan lets you talk on his spaces on Twitter. Because Ryan lets you talk on his spaces on Twitter. That makes you feel special. How old are you?
I roasted his companion that one night to the point where he ran me and then he brought me back, making me a co-host. So you go ahead and and one-liners, okay? You're gonna accuse me of being a sycophant and throw it in the garbage.
You are a sycophant.
It ain't the case.
You are a sycophant, though. You've admitted that. Your life's achievement is being eroded for Roidyan Garcia on Twitter Spaces.
I said I pushed back on him.
Does that sound like something a man your age should be bragging about?
So you're making things up, but go ahead.
I didn't make anything up. You've been bragging about how Ryan lets you talk on his Twitter Spaces for like a half an hour. How old are you?
Do work. What do you mean, how old am I? And
how old are you?
I mean, you're a guy doing some kind of a box. I mean, shout outs to Neutral.
Hey. I was invited here, buddy. I was invited here.
Everyone was invited here. You're all my invites.
I mean, why would that have...
Near as I can tell, you're getting upset because Ryan's doping case is being talked about from a neutral scope, because I haven't set an opinion yet on him. I'm just saying, well, this is what's going on. This is what you have to deal with. This is what has happened to other fighters. And your asshole just kind of expands and gets upset that I'm even saying that. Like what? Are you going to cry?
Well, I'm not upset. I mean, I think you're the one, between the two of us, the one that's being upset.
Do I look upset?
Well, you sound upset.
You're the one who has to hide. I've been calm the whole time.
I didn't know this was a video thing. I didn't prep for that. I prepped for a freaking space.
Well,
I didn't even know. Hey,
listen, bro. It's not rocket science. There's a little camera right there that you can hit if you want to be seen. I'm not upset. The people in the panel, the people in the chat are having a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun with what I'm saying.
Really want to go into a roast battle with the freaking greatest entertainer in the world? Come on, bro. Your freaking beanie. Why you bring sitting your sorry ass on your couch in your black saggy beanie trying to be the Tim Pool of freaking boxing. Yeah, you got
let's
life
Eden, let's see what you're sitting
One
on.
at a time, please, gents. One at a
right,
time.
let me
Because
go.
Eden, you're cutting out.
Let me
So
go. Let me go.
Ring around.
Eden, since you have so much to say, why don't you grow a pair and cam up? Grow a pair.
What is this? This is like your version of a dating app, bro? I don't swing that way.
No. Me and Neutral ain't dating. Are you bro? Are you so self-conscious? Are you so self-conscious that merely camming up does that make you nervous or something, bro?
Camming up?
Yo, what's up, fellas?
Is that the grinder?
Remy.
Is that what they say?
Right, Eden,
let's
just
make IQ. For the rest of the show, he's going to be grinder IQ. Back to you.
Oh, thank. Welcome, Remy, to the show.
How you fellas
there
doing,
you go.
man?
I'm good, thank you. Good. You've just come in a very auspicious time. As you know, we're talking about Roidyan Garcia and what's been happening. From my stance, I'm not convinced that it's anything other than contamination at this point, according to certain reports. But obviously, the B sample will bring out that other allegation that Victor Conte made about levels, etc. Now, what the boys here are talking about is do you think that Ryan's fans and people that are closely connected to him are in danger of overprotectiveness?
Most definitely. I think we could take it a step further and say they're getting a bit in the Delulu space. It's one thing, like, okay, April 21st, I sent out a tweet. I asked Vada to go congratulate Ryan on his win. Now, mind you, I watched the fight just like everyone else, and I was quite surprised at how Devin fought. Now, we're gonna touch on Devin's game plan, and then we're gonna go to the real meat and potatoes and shit. So, okay, as of April 20th, 12 a.m. You know what? April 20th, 11:59 p.m. I was giving Roidyan Garcia like total credit for everything, and I realized like mainly what happened that night had a lot to do with Devin as well and the way he fought Ryan. And I feel like had he not fought Ryan that way, the PDs wouldn't matter. That's my personal opinion. But with the terrible game plan he implemented and fighting a puncher in the center of the ring, you got the result on April 20th. Now fast forward a week later. Comes out that this guy that missed the weight popped dirty, and it's hilarious. You got the kid who's shown the most integrity throughout the buildup in every aspect of life in general. He's the one getting doubted. He's the one getting side-eyed. We're talking about fucking contamination. What? Ryan missed the weight. He blew weight. He proved he's an unreliable motherfucker, first of all. And let's go again. Let's go a bit step further. Ryan just so happened to be garnering all these non-boxing fans, right? And I think it's mighty odd that he did that before the Devin fight of all times. And I even had a brief conversation with Ryan. I asked him, why you're built the way you're building this fight, if you're turning off the fucking older crowd. And he didn't respond to me. And at that time I thought, that's just not what he wants to talk about. He wants to keep the Bohemian Grove hoopla shit going. But really, after the fact, it dawned on me, if he would have showed that all that shit was a ruse then and answered that question to me too intelligently, everyone would have realized that he was on bullshit. So instead of answering that question, he went cold silent on me because he knew that if he responded a certain way, people would see through the bullshit he was doing. So I think he had a 3-prong attack set up. One,
right?
If he beat Devin, he looks like a fucking genius, right? So he did he put out every stop, absolutely every stop. And then
Remy, let me stop you there, son. Your microphone is cracking up quite badly. Is there any chance either you can fiddle about with it, or can you jump out and come back in? But we need to get you a lot clearer. But Eden, did you
Yeah,
hear
can you hear
that?
me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I
Eden,
heard
did you
that.
hear what Remy said?
Yeah,
What have you got in response to
back.
that?
Let's let him turn his camera on too, so Grinder IQ can check out his fit. So let's make sure Remy turns his camera back on for Grinder IQ.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I
that
mean,
aside,
I would say to Remy's point, which is a valid point, that if it's about contaminated substances, a fighter that you know of, Dillian White, he literally went through the same thing. You know, the reason that he was able to come back, the reason that he was cleared to fight, is because he proved that whatever they found in his system,
That's right.
it came from the supplements he was taking. So now what he's going to do is sue the manufacturer. But you saw he fought in Ireland. He's back. He's cleared. So if it's the way that Ryan says it is, and it came from your supplements, okay, prove it. It's been done,
That's
literally
that
this year.
is that is literally true. He has to. I mean, and this is another thing. All through the camps and all through the process of logging your supplements with VADA and all the rest of it, the bookkeeping that needs to be done and the updates of the fighters, tests and that. It's so official and it's so you know part of the game now. I find it hard to believe that on that night, he pops positive for something that's 60 odd nanograms over. So at this point in time, the cheating tag, according to them figures, is very much, a valid point. I give that. But it's what kills me is just the unlikeliness of it. Ryan Garcia's got to be the dumbest
Neutral.
motherfucker in the world.
Neutral. One, like I'm not gonna say likely or unlikely because if we're gonna start questioning everybody that gets popped by VADA just because Ryan said so, what is that based on? Like what is that based on?
Aha!
You literally admitted you blew the weight on purpose. You admitted that. Where people thought you just couldn't make it. No, you said you deliberately missed it. Then you said that you deliberately lied about a mental illness on the Patrick Bet David show, right? So you've already attacked your own character. You've given people reason not to believe you because you're the one that said that it was all an act. You're the one that said you were lying. Okay, so if you were lying then, how do we know you're not lying now? That's what Sean Zattel asked him. And Ryan didn't give him a straight answer.
Well, just as you say that, we got another guest coming through. Matt, how you doing, big fella? You there?
I'm good, man. How's everything?
Oh, everything is going off in this space tonight, Matt. It's certainly going off. Now, as you just come in, obviously I'm just going to give you a quick recap. Been talking about Ryan, obviously. Osterine levels, Victor Conti, NYSEC. Now, you've got some, I think you've got an idea of what may have happened with NYACC. Would you like to divulge to us at this point?
Yeah. So basically, what happened? Because I know we all saw that the commissioner resigned this
Yeah.
week, and we saw the oh, I got to go be with my family. We saw the bullshit. Okay.
Mhm.
What really happened is the New York State Athletic Commission did not follow the proper protocol in the Ryan Garcia case. According to one of their rules, rule number 5, they're supposed to have a urine sample done at the event by the commission with an appointed inspector. They did not do that. So when we were all looking to see what the commission test said, we only knew about the VITA test. We were wondering, hey, what did the commission test after the fight say?
Yeah, I wonder
It
where
doesn't
they were.
exist because they
It
didn't do
doesn't
the test.
exist.
Wow. So
Wow.
Devin got
Now
fucked over in
that's
another way.
a massive problem for Devin Haney.
It's a
Neutral.
massive problem for Devin Haney insofar as you cannot expect that this fight is going to be overturned because under what circumstances can the New York State Athletic Commission say, hey, you popped dirty when it wasn't their test and they didn't follow their proper protocols.
Yeah, this is kind
So
of like what happened with Alicia Baumgartner last year. Coincidentally, Linda Douglas. It's literally the same story. Linda Douglas at the Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission. She resigned as that situation kicked off too. Same exact thing. When the situation popped off, Linda Douglas resigns from the MUCC. When this situation pops off, Kim
Kim
whatever her
Sumber.
fucking Kim Sumber resigns at the New York State Athletic Commission. So it does seem like there were gross oversights, and she's avoiding implication. She doesn't want to be held responsible, so she's quitting.
Yeah, well,
Eden.
she didn't exactly
Sorry,
quit.
Matt.
She
Go
was
on.
forced
On
to
you go.
step down. They told her that she had to resign. That's what's not being reported. Everyone's just reporting that she resigned. What they're not reporting is that she was forced out. What this Ryan Garcia case is going to expose is how little these commissions actually follow their own protocols. Because a
Absolutely.
lot of these post-fight and day-of-fight urine tests they're supposed to be conducting are not being conducted. These commissions, who take money from the promoters, by the way, they take money from the promoters as part of the fees in order to stage a fight for drug testing. They're being lazy and pocketing the money instead of taking these,
Absolutely.
actually administering these drug tests. So yeah, Devin Haney's gonna get screwed. Yeah, I guess, because I believe Ryan Garcia is dirty. But at the end of the day, I don't think it would be fair to punish Ryan Garcia if they didn't follow their protocol. It's like me
Yeah.
getting arrested and you're not reading me my Miranda rights. It is what it
What?
is. You follow the
What?
protocol to the T.
Mm.
True. Now, what does this mean for the VADA tests?
Well, VADA never had teeth, Neutral. You know that. That VADA's not like UCAD. They're not working in tandem with a commission. They're a private company that you can hire to oversee testing. If you want to, put it in the contract that, hey, if you test positive, you're out X amount of dollars or whatever. These are all provisions that you have to make between the teams because VADA doesn't have teeth. They're just a testing agency. They don't hand out penalties. They can simply do the test and then tell you what comes up. But that's where it stops.
Right.
Speaking of not
But
having teeth, this show has no
sorry.
teeth when I'm not on the mic cracking jokes. Give me a freaking break. So let me jump back in here.
Go
Another
on, Eden. Go on.
is running out of tissues. You got to make sure he's got enough tissues. That's a big problem for Haney. But let me throw an actual boxing freaking thing at you guys, right? And I'll shoot this one at Remy. And what's up, Remy? Nice to see you again.
What's up, man?
Yeah, appreciate you. But with that said, where's that couple hundo that you lost? I ain't been nagging you about that. I took it without odds because I was waiting to roast you about it live. But let me ask you a question. You are talking about Ryan Garcia missed the weight, right? And that's a popular talking point against Garcia. But I would counter with this. The fight still went on, right? Like, they had an agreement. He paid X dollars, okay? And the fight still went on. So he missed the weight. But is that, like, allowed or it's not allowed? If it's allowed, then you can't use that as a point against Garcia. You got to throw that away. And finally, on this point, the fact that people are throwing that at Garcia weakens the anti-Garcia position vicariously because it's just uselessness. The fight still went on. They made a deal. He came in 3.2 pounds overweight. So what? It's not a point against him. So you guys look weak talking that. But anyway, back to you.
Remy.
Okay, I want to say this. Well, if Ryan, like, again, now we're talking about actual ethics here. This has to come into play because we're talking about an innuendo. Were we there to see Ryan rub that Ostarine on his arm? No, we were not. Were we there to see him inject a shot in his ass? We don't know. We were not privy to that. Now, all we can go off of is ethics, character, right? I think it's mighty odd and just disingenuous in general to act as though Ryan doesn't have a reason to be for you to have suspicion of Ryan. That's fucking crazy. The point of the 3.2 pounds isn't Devin Haney agreed to that. That's his fault. That's on Devin Haney. It speaks to Ryan's character and the fact that after the weigh-in, he started again. Ryan talks too fucking much. He says one thing, but his actions say another. So you say you're this person, you're that kind of person, we should believe you, this, that, and the other. But all he's really doing, if you ask me, is playing up on the fact that fucking he gained a conspiracy theorist crowd before the fight. And he's using them to combat the real noise of the bullshit he did. And even more so, it's really fucked up that Devin has to deal with this bullshit. Fuck if you like Devin, fuck if you like Ryan Garcia. If you told me this story and said fighter A and fighter B, and Devin was fighter A, I'd go with fighter A. Because he has all the fucking credibility in the world compared to Ryan Garcia, who is a fuck up. He's used mental health as a reason to get out of fights before. He's been known to pull out of fights.
Exactly.
There's been suspicions of him also using drug PEDs before. He's blown up and got swole as fuck out of nowhere multiple times.
To Remy's point, I remember back in circa 2021, he pulled out of the fight. Which one was it? The Jojo Diaz fight, right? It was either the Jojo Diaz. It was Jojo, and he said that the reason that he did it was because, mental health. They didn't specify a condition like, what are you, schizophrenic, manic, bipolar? If you have a mental illness, what is it? Because mental illnesses have pathology, and it's hard to imagine that you have a pathological mental illness, but you're regularly being cleared to fight by a commission. That sounds like bullshit. Now, you just went on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, and you told him to his face, all this stuff about you acting crazy was a lie. It was all an act that you planned months in advance. So it does hurt his character.
And you're crunching peanuts, chucking peanuts at the stage, being a part of it. So it's hypocrisy, bro. Come on.
Hypocrisy in what capacity? I don't have anything to do with his Oscar.
Apology. Oh, he's lying about that. He's like,
Eden, a lot of people were worried about him. Eden, I don't think everyone was participating in the hoopla. Some people were worried about him.
I'm saying vicariously, we're all participating in the hoopla, and we're all here for it. It's a freaking circus, right? And Remy, let me push back one point, right? You say, okay, I'm going to paraphrase, right? But the point should stand. Correct me if I'm missing it. But you said Haney doesn't deserve this, like to be part of this. However, he's playing the same game with that prepared statement. Came out 20 minutes after the news broke, and then he's doing an ESPN interview dancing on his grave. He's participating in it too. So that's another hypocritical angle. And that's my opinion. You tell me I'm wrong about that.
Hypocritical is that? No. Hypocritical is when Alicia Baumgartner tested positive. Who was one of the first ones jumping down her throat? Ryan. Screenshots are all out there.
Yeah.
So that when he tests positive, oh, he's supposed to get some kind of amnesty that he didn't give her. It's very. I don't even feel sorry for Devin, to be honest with you. It's not about Devin. I don't even care about Ryan. Like I said at the top of the show, personally, I don't think they're going to do anything to him. And I think that people made up their minds how they want to feel about this a long time ago. The Ryan Garcia fans, in their eyes, he's going to be innocent no matter what comes out. To the Devin Haney fans, oh, Ryan is the devil. I don't care enough about either of them to be all that wrapped up in it. All I know is, hey, he's not the first, he won't be the last, and this is what usually happens. You'll probably, at the very worst, get a 6-month suspension, which is like no suspension at all, because that's the average duration of time in between fights for a boxer in this day and age. About 6, 8, sometimes 10 months. So it's like nothing happened. If we're going to get down into personal opinions, do I think he do I think he cheated? Do I think he deliberately took something? Oh, yeah, absolutely, because I think most people in professional sports, not just boxing, are taking something. I've heard it from boxers, I've heard it from cyclists, I've heard it from people in different sports, not including boxing. And even within boxing, there are boxers that'll tell you, oh yeah, there's plenty of people that are on something that just haven't gotten caught. Ryan's one of the dumb ones that did.
It certainly looks that way. Right, gentlemen, we're going to move on to our second topic of the night.
Ian, I want to ask you a question.
Oh.
How did the PEDs get in Ryan's system in your mind?
Well, okay. And that's a fair question, obviously, but we don't have all the facts yet, right? Because now look, self-described professed king of casuals, okay? The casual audience, which every entertainment industry on earth wants to attract, by the way, okay? Before you crap on casuals. And there's skill to it, All right. So as the self-professed champion of the casual observer, what do I see? I see that one of those tests got thrown in the garbage. He's been cleared about it. Seemed pretty official to me, Remy, right? When it came out, he failed 2 different substances. Boom, one of them's gone. Boom, the commissioner resigns. So I think it's fair to answer your question. It's like, let me wait until all the dust has settled. What else do you want from me, right? Yes or no?
The point is, really now, is they may not even get to the 22nd of May now because the NYSEC have broken protocol. Now, this is up to Ryan's legal team.
Say this. Let me play devil's advocate for Ryan Garcia because it's a more simple situation than everybody's making it out to be. Like I said, Dillian White already went through this, and he proved that the banned substance they found in his system came from a supplement he was taking as a result of the manufacturer not listing the substance. So that caused him to lose all that money and all that stuff and get kicked out of the fight. So what did he do? He had the supplements tested. It turns out it was cross-contamination. Ryan, that's your story, right? Or is it that Victor Conti set you up? That's Ryan's problem. You're pointing the blame at every direction without any evidence. If you're saying that Victor Conti set you up, okay, well, you have to prove that. Or if you're saying that it was cross-contamination, okay, well, you have to prove that.
Right.
One way or another, the burden of proof is on you. It's
But
not
this
on
is
neutral.
what I mean, Jules.
It's not on neutral. It's
There
not on
might
neutral.
not be a
the burden of proof on Devin Haney. That's hilarious.
Yeah, well,
They're
like,
not.
I've never
I
seen
don't
that
think
like
there's
it.
going to be any
That's
burden of
he
proof
pop dirty.
because the NYSEC have broken the
He
rules.
went a little rodeo on ESPN when he thought he had the burden of proof. So you can't have it both ways. Devin Haney's doing the Haney show.
I'm just saying that if he was on ESPN, it's likely because they contacted him for a comment because that's what they usually do. When it came out that Ryan test positive for whatever, ESPN calls him, we want to know what you think about it. We want to know what your thoughts are because you were just in there in the ring with this guy. It's not like he volunteered himself. They called him the way they call any athlete in that situation.
How cameras work too, and then they turn the light switches on.
Are you
what are you talking?
trying to make little of Devin defending himself? Are you trying to make that like a bad thing?
Defended himself, or he's out there dancing on his grave. Like, shouldn't he have waited? Are you making excuses for himself? Remy, don't be disingenuous. You know he was doing that. Yes or no?
I would say that Devin is actually being pretty tame because I remember when Canelo tested positive for clenbuterol, Abel Sanchez and Gennady Golovkin actually had a commercial where there's a steak and he's eating it, and they're ribbing Canelo Alvarez because the story was it came from tainted meat. Devin's not saying very much, to be honest. That was actually worse. Abel Sanchez and Gennady Golovkin ribbing Canelo was worse than anything that Devin is doing right now. I'm not going up to bat for Devin because it's like, well, dude, I don't give a shit, like I don't care personally. I'm not that invested. But the fact of the matter is, all the explaining, whether Eden likes it or not, whether Remy likes it or not, whether MVO likes it or not, Ryan, you're the one who has to explain yourself. It's not the other way around. Devin doesn't have to explain anything because he's not the one that pissed hot. You did. So you have to explain why that happened. Now, I figure, even if you can, when have the punishments in boxing ever been harsh for doping? When?
But this
Not
is what I'm saying, Jules. You're not going to get. We might not get a punishment. We might not get a punishment.
It's a picking and choosing.
Neutral, you're a Brit just like me. I'm from South London, but I grew up in Harlem. That's the story, right? So here's the thing. I know that in the UK, they take doping seriously. Zolani Tete just got a 4-year ban because he popped. He got a 4-year ban. But this is America. Americans don't care about pads. Are you joking? They don't give a shit about pads, bro. Ryan, for what it's worth, whether you like Ryan or not, nothing is going to happen. Not a fucking thing. Nothing. But do I think he cheated? Oh, yeah, of course he did. The simplest answer is usually the right one. He cheated. And you're not the only one. I think Fury cheated. Conor Benny might have cheated, I love Alicia. Maybe she cheated. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. But if somebody says it, what the fuck am I going to do? Argue? I'm going to argue Ryan's innocence in the same breath that we're hearing, well, we don't have all the facts. Then you don't have all the facts to prove he's innocent, do you? What we do know is they found ostarine in you. That is not a naturally occurring substance in the body. You have to put it there.
Yeah, well, we don't know that to a certainty, right? And how's my levels? I'm seeing comments. I'm too loud. My bad, guys. Because I get fired up. I get fired up. What's up? Why do these arguments that you're making? Who's this other guy? Is this MVO over there? MVO.
Yeah, that's Matt.
I didn't recognize MVO because he's not. Because I'm used to him having that baby profile picture.
You mean my baby picture?
Oh, shout out to your baby. Yeah, you and Remy.
That's a picture of Drake.
Oh, please don't ever compare me to that guy.
And MVO, last time we were on a show, I was on Remy's show. I remember every day. You ran me. Guess what happened next? Just so the people know. 2 people came up and asked Eden questions because I'm entertaining AF, but freaking MVO over here ran me. So that's not going to happen again. Anyway, appreciate it. And I forgot what the hell else I was saying.
No, Eden, that wasn't him. That wasn't him.
That was.
He ran me. He said he ran me. He said, you ran me? Wait, who ran me that?
Definitely
no,
wasn't.
That was someone else. MVO actually told me, like, me and MVO both were cool with you being in the space.
Oh, it wasn't you that ran me?
No, that wasn't MVO at all. He actually agreed with me when I gave the whole speech about not turning off.
Then it was the other guy. Then it was freaking Wolf. Then Wolf needs to get put in line. Anyway, I'm just joking around. But yeah,
guys, will we ever see the rematch?
Yeah, I think so, because there's a lot of money in it. And if there's one thing they both want, it's money. I believe not next, but you know how boxing is. Like, remember, Roy Jones and Bernard didn't have their rematch until 14 years later. The first fight was, I forgot the year, but it took 14 years to get them back in the ring. I don't think it's going to take that long to get Ryan and Devin in the ring. But because of all the controversy that this creates, this is easily a very sellable fight. You could sell a lot of pay-per-views with this fight because the Haney fans are going to say right now, we got you. We know what you did. And they're going to go in believing in him. And the Ryan Garcia fans, they're going to go in, Ryan didn't cheat. Whatever the fuck they come up with. Who fucking knows? But people are going to buy the fight. And that's the point, that the money is now there for an even bigger rematch than the first one was, than the first fight was. So I believe they will fight. But I think it could be 2 years from now, maybe a year, 2 years from now.
I don't think they're going to fight again. For the simple fact that if they're not going to fight again next, I don't think Devin Haney is going to win enough to warrant a Ryan Garcia rematch. Because I think, first of all, the beating he took, that is a career-changing beating that he took. He was beat up in that fight. And there's a lot of guys that think that Devin Haney is food right now. Like they're looking at him like, yo, because listen, no matter what nobody says, let's be honest. A lot of people don't respect Ryan Garcia's boxing skills. They know he got power, they know he got speed, but they don't respect his skills. So for a guy like that to beat Devin Haney and beat him clearly, okay, he beat him clearly. For that to happen, I think a lot of guys think he's food. Do we think that?
No, and he is though. He is though. Like, if you really, look, and to MVO's point, irrespective, why don't I feel sorry for Devin? For the same reason I didn't feel sorry for Jarrett Hurd when he lost to Julian Williams. You're one of these guys that's cutting a lot of fucking weight to fight little people. That's what you're doing. You're not the only one, so I don't cry about it. There are a lot of boxers doing this. I feel Brandon Figueroa has been doing this because he's huge for his division. Sebastian Fundora has been doing this. David Benavidez has been doing this. A lot of fighters are doing this. And I always say, the reason I don't cry about it is because it's going to blow up in your face. It will. It always does. It always catches up. It caught up to you, Devin. You couldn't take a fucking shot because you're cutting too much weight. It's not just that he's on steroids. It's not just that. It's that you cut too much weight. You saw how drawn he was at the weigh-in. His face was sunken in again. His eyes were sunken. I'm like, I saw him, and this is before any of this happened. I said, did this guy outgrow 140 already? It's only been 2 fights.
Yeah.
And not only that, I don't think these guys are outgrowing these divisions. They just shouldn't be in the divisions to begin with. The issue that a lot of boxers have, and Devin Haney included, is they're not good enough to fight at the divisions they're supposed to be in.
Yes.
And that's why they cut all the way down. Like we
I-
saw this with
Someone has said the truth at last.
yeah, we saw this, and I know everybody loves him, but we saw this with Jamel Herring for years. He got his ass kicked when he started at 135. He had to move all the way down to 130.
Listen,
And
put it another way. Jarrett Hurd, I'm sure you all remember him. This guy walked around 200 plus, boiled down to 154. At the time he was doing this, who was at middleweight? Gennady Golovkin. And it's what MVO said. You don't want those problems. The way you fight now, you don't want those problems. So you're gonna lose all this fucking weight, be in a division that you shouldn't be in because you know you're not good enough to go fight a Golovkin. You're not good enough. You'll get found out. You'll get beaten up, you know? So what happened to Devin, look, the pet thing is one thing. You cutting too much fucking weight is another. And you've been doing that. You were killing yourself to make 135.
On, it's allowed. Why is that such a big deal? Why is that a point against him? And why, I mean, we've got one of these, like, this is stupid. There's an element here that makes me very uncomfortable. And that's the glaring stupidity of you had one of those results get thrown in the trash. Now, if that didn't come out for some reason or whatever, you'd be sitting here talking about 2 failed tests and condemning him in that way. But one of them just got totally invalidated. So the fact that you're going to sit here and say he's guilty, the test, like there's a B sample. There's like the dust has not settled. So this posture of he's definitely guilty, he's a juicer, whatever, ostrich, he's a freaking riding an ostrich, whatever, he's got his head, whatever you want. It's just stupid. It's stupid.
Eden,
Hey, Eden,
what I would
the
say,
B sample
Eden,
is the
quick,
same
Remy.
T as the A sample, Eden.
Hold on,
No,
but real quick.
wait. Let me just say this. While further testing confirmed that nandrolone was not in the system, right? The Osterin was definitely there. So you can't invalidate the testing when it comes to Osterin and then validate it when it comes to nandrolone. That's what you're doing. You're relying on the test to clear him when the fucking test is the only reason we know he had Osterin. The Osterin didn't go anywhere. That's still there. He still has to explain it. That's his bad.
Here's one thing I would say in support.
Casual. That's
quick,
not
Eden.
my.
Hold on, Eden.
Eden, let Matt land, please, sir.
One thing I would say in support of what Eden is saying, we should not have known about this so quickly. I don't agree, and this is the problem that VADA is going to have to deal with because of their relationships and the leaks. These tests should not be coming out to the general public before the results management process is finished. Because now you have a case where there is a lot of confusion about what exactly went on. It's not like these tests are coming back before the fight anyway, where the fight is going to be canceled. If it's coming back weeks later, why are there leaks? I believe Victor Conti had something to do with it. I believe Devin Haney's team has something to do with it. They are leaking these tests, and now, to be honest with you, they kind of helped Ryan in this situation because the fact that the other tests got thrown out basically is going to further buttress Ryan's argument that he is being framed. It's gonna further his agenda.
Wow.
You know, and they have no one to
Even
blame
though
but
that's an
themselves.
asinine agenda.
But is it?
But it's not. And that's what it
only
like
play.
right
It's
now.
his only play. Like, what else is he gonna do? The shit is in his
Nah,
system.
right now to the casual
It's his
people, and
only play.
I'm not even going full blown conspiracy. You haven't heard me say that, but that's what it looks like. It looks like fishy business. So
Yeah,
it's
the
It
optics
looks
are
like
not good.
Ryan Pop Dirty. That's what it looked like to me.
But so Remy, you can't admit that the optics does not look good. The breaking of the protocol
The
by
optics
New
are
York State
very
Athletic
odd, but
Commission.
the optics could be considered odd, especially if your scope is to fucking exonerate Ryan, most definitely. But the scopes of the whole situation is, to me, is very, very cut and dry in two regards. Now, when Ryan won the fight, that's what it was. He won the fight. But now that I know you were dirty, everything on that basis is invalidated. And you and Ring made great points about him cutting a lot of weight. I've heard stories about him cutting weight before. And I've heard of him having issues, especially at 35. At 35, he was having a terrible time cutting weight to the point to where he doesn't want to do certain shit to cut weight no more type thing. But all in all, if Ryan would have been under those same circumstances, he would have had a little bit out of him as well. And that's neither here nor there. These guys are all bigger than their weight class. They're all looking for whatever advantage they could get. So I don't think that's fair to any fighter because they all do that shit. Just like Ryan was willing to act crazy and ruin his fucking credibility to play possum if that's quote unquote what he was actually doing. I just think it's very, very weird that the onus is being pushed to Devin in any way, shape, or form. And this is not me speaking from a person who wants him to be. If Ryan was not dirty and Conte, in fact, did frame him, this shit needs to be out. And I want it out as soon as possible because I want to know if those results were really what they were. That's my concern as a boxing fan. And ultimately, I don't want motherfuckers getting away with bullshit like this. But if he does, it is what it is. I'm not going to put too much stock into it because no matter what, you know, the ball is going to keep rolling. There's going to be another great fighter like Ryan. There's going to be another great fighter like Devin, and the show will fucking go on. But what I'm not okay with is this. Oh my God, Eden, y'all are screaming at the mountaintops as though y'all are in the inverse position. It's crazy to me.
So here's what I would say to that. I think because I want to move this forward, spin this forward. Cause I know Neutral has a lot more topics to get to. We can't spend the whole show talking about something that happened a month ago. Now, here's the thing: what should happen is VADA has to either shit or get off the pot. Either you're going to see if you can make a deal with the ABC, which is the American Boxing Commission. You have to make a deal where you are the preferred drug tester of all of the commissions, or you got to get out of boxing. Because we can't have this third party handling thing. We can't have it. If you're going to be the preferred drug tester of all the commissions, that's great. But we cannot have where we're in a position where the commission gets lazy and does not conduct their own test, which as the rules state, it has to be done by the commission by an appointed inspector. You have to either get in with the commissions or get the hell out of boxing. But we can't have this guy said I tested positive, but this guy said I didn't. This guy didn't even do a test. We can't have that in boxing because it causes too much confusion.
Well, the reason it'll never change, the reason it'll never change is what the promoters and what all these altruistic Sally Struthers people, what they don't want to tell you is anti-doping testing isn't cheap. The reason there's not more of it and it's not more uniform is because it costs the promoters more money. It would make the shows even more expensive to put on if you had to have uniform testing at every level of boxing, prospect level, contender level, champion level, pound for pound level. The promoters would be out a lot of money. The truth is, boxing doesn't want to be clean. Boxing fans don't want it to be clean. I want more steroids. Give Ryan so many fucking steroids, he doesn't know what to do. You know, he's fighting people in the audience. Why not? Like John Witherspoon said, give more. I want to see a motherfucker punch his head off. Why not? But don't try to beat me on my head and tell me he's innocent. You know he's not. We all know he's not. Fuck out of here.
That's a complete fact. You don't know what we think. It's ridiculous. Certainly not the casual observer. By the way, I see the point you're trying to be satirical about, but you're out here. I don't know what level of professionalism you do this, and I'm not making fun of you about that. I don't know. But you're invested somewhat a lot, right, to some degree, commenting on a blood sport, right? This is a blood sport we're talking about, right? So in that, when you frame it that way, like maybe some of the stuff you're saying is kind of disingenuous.
What part?
Bro, like they're all on steroids now. You're just going to say, it's a freaking, like, how?
I remember Nate Diaz. I remember Nate Diaz quite famously said about his own discipline, which is mixed martial arts. He said quite famously, everybody's doping. He said that. I remember Lance Armstrong said that at the highest levels, everybody's doping. They're just not getting caught, but everybody is. And it's not even about trying to gain a competitive edge. It's about trying to keep up. Now, you're a casual. You said that. So you're not privy to how many of these fighters get caught on a regular basis. It's enough that if you're not a casual and you're just watching, you watch a lot of boxing, you'll know. Oh, this is every other fucking month somebody's getting popped. It's every other month. Conor Ben, Amir Khan, Alicia Baumgartner, Heather Hardy once got popped. Hannah Gabriel's once got popped. I could give you an itemized list of over 100 fighters in the last 3-4 years that have got caught. Enough to where you start to see the picture that, yeah, it looks like everybody's doping, man, or almost everybody. It looks that way because it's almost every other month somebody gets caught. So my whole thing is, well, if this is what's really going on behind the scenes, and Mia St. John said this, she's a professional boxer, she would know. She says, I know plenty of fighters that have been doping and they never got caught. They beat the test. They know how to beat the test, right? That's what she said. Those are her annotations as a professional. If she's saying that, yeah, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to believe it. She knows what she's talking about. So if the whole sport of boxing, or most of it, could be doping, then why are we sitting here arguing Ryan's innocence? The easiest explanation is, no, he's doping. He's just another dirty fighter, like a lot of dirty fighters.
But your argument doesn't make any sense because it's a contradiction. Because you're condemning our premise. You're condemning the guy.
There you go. There you go again. There you go again. No. I didn't condemn Ryan. I didn't condemn Ryan. All I said was I think he's guilty. That's not a condemnation. It's not a condemnation. If you ask me what I think, right? What do I think? Oh yeah, I think he cheated, but I don't care. I think a lot of people cheated, and I still watch them.
I'm just gonna say, I want to get a quick roundup from everybody now before I close off this conversation, because we do have a couple of very quick topics to get through. And so, Ring IQ, you've just said, right, you think he's cheated, but you don't care. That's fine. That's just all I want to know. Matt.
100% he cheated, but because the protocol was not followed, I don't think he should be punished. I'm a stickler for, listen, the government, in this case, you have all the advantages. You have everything on your side. So to me, I put them under more scrutiny than Ryan Garcia. You have to follow your own protocols. You put all the rules in place. If you can't follow your own rules, then I think what else is invalid? And because Ryan Garcia has enough money to fight the case, it exposed that these motherfuckers were lazy and they've been dropping the ball for God knows how long. You know, it's so funny. They say you can't fight City Hall. Well, Ryan Garcia fought City Hall and he's winning so far. You know, it is what it is.
We've lost Remy for now, but Eden, did Ryan Garcia cheat?
I have no idea, and nor does anybody definitively. Okay, and the whole thing, like, here's the bottom line here. Okay, it's the Ryan Garcia show right now in that entire arena, expanding more into the mainstream. Whether you like it or not, everybody here is a part of it. We're all riding the gigantic coattails of Ryan Garcia. It's entertainment. It's punchy, 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 pun intended. Okay, it looks bad when the one test got thrown out, when the commissioner resigns, when you look at, I mean, just from a casual observer, which is most of the whole universe is casuals to boxing, okay? And I'm here as a representative of that outlook, and I'm very good at what I do. I'm not a boxing nerd, so don't even try to put that on me. That's not what I'm here to do. Now, if you want to have a boxing nerd exclusive show, then go ahead. Go ahead. And nobody's going to watch. You're going to gatekeep your audience to just be boxing nerds, and good luck with that. Okay? Don't take any points off of me doing my job. All right, back to you.
And that's why Ryan loves you.
I have a question. Was that for MVO or Remy? Was that for MVO or Remy? Because I haven't actually...
Yeah, man, my mic is giving me trouble right now. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
we got
loud
you.
And clear, mate. Loud and clear. Remy, I've just said to the guys, we're just going to close off this. Ryan Garcia, guilty in your eyes? No, he's gone again.
Come on, you know what Remy thinks. Come on,
Right,
let's move
okay
on.
then. Right, let's move on. I'll give my thing at the end of the show. Right, okay then. I want to quickly touch on well, no, did he? Tank, and it been in the news this week. Now, obviously, he's having beef with Clarissa Shields online. Do we feel that Tank is trying to hype himself up for, because is the numbers not working out over at Prime? Do they need to do something to, bump up this show? And, obviously they need to compete with what's just happened in New York. I believe the figures was 500,000. I don't, again, I'm not privy to the zone figures, but it's round about that. So they're going to need to better that with this card, with Tank and with David Benavidez. So this Cressy Shields business, just is that helping him?
In a manner of speaking, because it keeps him talked about. It keeps him, out there, because, and I see the strategy, like I understand it. And I said it last year that the biggest part of the reason that Tank saw such a huge uptick in the numbers, where his numbers used to hover around 200,000. That's what was reported, about 200,000 just north or just south. He saw over 1 million. And I said it then. Oh, that's because of Ryan. He's got all those social media followers. How do you go from just a little over 200,000 to over 1 million pay-per-view sold? It's got to be because of Ryan. And now he's under pressure because Frank Martin is not Ryan Garcia. He doesn't have the social media presence. He doesn't have the personality. So you need another angle to try to sell your fight. So, you're going to say this about Eddie Hearn. You're going to say this about Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. You're going to troll him. And you need to do these things because Frank Martin, even if he is a decent fighter, people don't know him. They don't know him. You know what I mean? And he's not really selling himself. He has the personality of a warm bus seat. There's nothing going on there. Now in the ring he can fight, but selling the fight, that is Gervonta's problem now. You just did over 1 million with Ryan. This is your next fight right after that. If you don't do over 1 million, which you're not, and if you don't do 500,000, which you might not, right? You're not the face of anything. You keep telling people you're the face of boxing. Well, not if your numbers drop dramatically once you don't have Ryan to help you. You're not the face of anything, So we'll see. I'm not going to make bold proclamations because they've added Benavidez versus Vosdick to the card. It's the co-main event. It's a spicy fight. It's a good fight. It's a solid fight. We'll see if that helps. But it is bad if you go out there and you can't do 500,000. It is bad. Because, fucking Ryan just got out there and did 500,000 without you. If you don't do that, so Ryan usurped you. He surpassed you. He sells more. He's more mainstream.
Matt, what do you say?
I think it's just a simple case of a kid that's been on probation for a long time, finally being on probation. He's off of it. He's free. Now he acting out. He's showing his ass. I think it's that simple. I don't think it's something like calculated nefarious. He's just having fun now. He's reunited with his old running buddy Adrian Broner. They out together. They all training together now. Calvin Ford is Adrian Broner's new trainer. Basically, the crew, the team is back together. When you see your old college friends and y'all get back together for a night, I can guarantee you're going to be well oiled by the end of that night, right, Neutral?
Definitely.
So it's the same concept. He out there, he having fun. I do not like the back and forth with Clarissa Shields. Maybe this is the misogynist in me, but I don't think men should be arguing back and forth with women. I just don't think that should be a thing. I'm like, what is going on here? Commenting on her looks.
A bit of clouting off each other at this minute.
Yeah, but you're a guy. What are you commenting about this woman's looks for? All this stuff. Like, I don't. To me, that's distasteful. That's distasteful for me. I don't
he was a bit harsh with it, wasn't he? Yeah.
Hold on, that's distasteful. But having these women bash each other's brains in what is that?
That's women. That's women's business. That's women's business. I stay out of women's business. I don't know about you, but I stay out of women's business. Women's business is women's business.
That's my position. I don't know what they're doing, bashing each other. What is going on with that? That's a whole
I stay
other
out of
thing.
women's business.
Yeah. Right. With the last topic of the night, guys, and again, we'll keep this short. This is just really for the upcoming undisputed heavyweight championship boxing. Yeah, the heavyweight. Usyk getting ready there. Oh, yeah, just running back a few of the old vids. Now, is Tyson Fury? Do you feel this is last chance salute for him? If he loses, he's lost everything. So if he loses this,
Neutral, you're fucking British. You know we don't give a fuck about a O. If he loses to Usyk, fucking Usyk rematch. Go fight AJ. That's what we want. That's what we all really, really want. We want you to fight AJ. You know, if he loses, you know, when has a look at Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora is a journeyman with losses in the double digits that regularly pulls in 7-figure purses. Why? Because Brits don't give a fuck about an unbeaten record. It's never been about that. Amir
they love a
Khan.
good fight. Yeah.
Right. Amir Khan and Kell Brook were both over the hill when they fought. They both were. But it's still sold out and it's still sold pay-per-views. So it's not the end. It's not the end of Tyson Fury if Usyk beats him. And a mounting amount of people, a growing amount of people believe Usyk is going to beat him. I think he's the slight favorite right now. I don't know. I have to check. I think he's the slight favorite with the odds makers. But him losing that fight is not the end of him. Now, him losing to AJ, that's the end of him. If you lose that one, yeah, it's over. It's over. Because that's the one you need to win. You can lose to Usyk. AJ lost to Usyk. You can lose to Usyk. But you can't lose to AJ. That's a different one. You know, that's a domestic scrap.
That's a heavy pill to swallow on the British level, isn't it? Yeah. Matt?
I think it's over for Fury when Fury wants it to be over. I think, first of all, I don't get where this growing sentiment that Usyk is going to beat Fury is coming from. I think Fury's going to clean this guy up. I have not
Oh,
at
you
any
think?
point,
Yeah.
I have not at any point been impressed with Alexander Usyk at heavyweight. I thought he looked bad against Chaz Witherspoon. Okay. I thought he looked bad against Derek Chisora. I thought that Luis Pabon saved him in that AJ fight, calling that quote unquote low blow. That was a good body shot. Okay. And then we saw the same ref, Luis Pabon, in the Daniel Dubois fight, another good body shot. And this guy is writhing on the canvas. Oh, no, it's a low blow. This guy is all smoke and mirrors at heavyweight. Salute to what he did at cruiserweight. He went undisputed. Awesome. Much love. Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. But at heavyweight, he has not impressed me at all. And he is going to get found out on May 18th by the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. That's all I have to say about that.
So you're saying he's punching above his weight? Excuse the pun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so is Steve Cunningham and John McDermott. I just wanted to retort that I think Fury is actually the one that's all smoke and mirrors. You fought a limited fighter in Deontay Wilder who only had one punch, and you fooled a bunch of Americans into thinking you're actually really good when I've been watching Fury for years, and there's nothing impressive about him. You just fought Wilder, and off of you beating Wilder, they really thought you were number one until they put you in there with an MMA fighter, and they saw, what I already knew. This guy's not that good. Y'all just high off of him beating one-handed Wilder. But Parker just beat one-handed Wilder. So I just got to disagree with that.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Are we sure Tyson Fury is not that good, or is he a guy that fights to the level of his opposition? Because we saw a fully focused guy
who's not that good.
He was fully focused with Klitschko, and Klitschko couldn't lay a glove on him.
That's cool, but
he was fully focused with Wilder, and he was able to beat Wilder.
Need I remind you of something? I was around for Corey Saunders destroying Klitschko, and nobody crowned Corey Saunders the greatest thing they ever saw just because he did it. I was around when Lamont Brewster beat Klitschko, and once again, so how does Fury get that for beating an older Klitschko than the one they fought? No, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I know you ducked David Price. I know you ducked Alexander Ustinov. And I've always known you got a gift against John McDermott. That's why I've always known, this dude is not who they say he is. He's good. I'll give him that I do think he's a good fighter, but he's not what they say he is. And when they started calling him, what, he's supposed to be better than Lennox? Then Lennox will wipe his ass with Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
He'll
but
wipe his
I
whole
look at
ass.
it this way. I look at it this way because we like to play the triangle theory sometimes. I think Tyson Fury performed much better against quote unquote old Vladimir Klitschko than AJ did.
Yeah,
AJ
but that's
was flopping around the canvas
but can I say
when
this, MVO? MVO, this is the difference. Tyson Fury debuted as a professional years before AJ. You're not
yeah.
factoring in that Fury was a more experienced fighter when he fought Klitschko. AJ had turned pro in 2013. Fury's been around since 2008. These guys, they didn't just get here, you understand? So, yeah, you could say Fury did better against Klitschko because he wasn't flopping around on the canvas, but you were literally a more experienced fighter. AJ didn't have 20 fights when he fought Klitschko. Fury was already up there. He already fought people already, bro. So I'll concede. Yes, Fury did better than AJ because he was more experienced than AJ. He doesn't have the stat padding that you have, Fury. He doesn't have that. He didn't fight Derek Chisora 3 times.
Hey, what you call stat pattern, I call practicing your craft. I think the problem with AJ is that he became big business too soon, where he wasn't able to get the developmental fights that he needed and see the different styles.
Bro, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but there's a reason, and I don't do the triangle theory thing because it's not a triangle when you have 5 or 6 common opponents. It stopped being a triangle at 1. They have 5 or 6 opponents, about 5 opponents, 5 common ones. AJ knocks them out. It's consistent. AJ knocks him out. It's not a triangle after that. Now it's kind of obvious that, like, yeah, this guy's better than y'all say he is, and this guy's not as good as y'all say he is.
Right, Eden, you can finish us off with your prediction between, from a casual point of view, if you want to say that, Eden, between Usyk and Tyson Fury.
Yeah, you got it. Let's talk about smoke and mirrors. I'll tell you what the real smoke and mirror show is. Whatever this fight you're talking about, whatever the whole rest of the boxing arena and all the boxing historians and all the boxing Poindexters can push their glasses up the ridge of their nose as far as it'll go and have their shows. I got all the respect in the world for those guys if they stay in their lane over there. It's the Roidyan Garcia show. The whole world's changing in real time. Roidyan Garcia is heralding a new way of doing things, and you're going to have guys like me, of which I am the champion, show up, tell you how it is, take your boxing nerd stuff, and go out back of the arena in the tar pits, because that's what you guys are going to be, like the dinosaurs, like fossils. And you can have a periscope chilling in your tar pit from where you can view the main stage. And with that, I appreciate
I agree with you, Eden. I agree with you. Let's have Roidyan Garcia versus Tyson Fury. Best PEDs win. How about that?
Let's have Ryan and Tyson.
I was going to say, I don't.
If arena.
If he would have
Eden, let Ring IQ, please. I've got to end this show.
Ring IQ, I trash Ring IQ. I tip my top hat. You know your stuff. You're not bad at what you do. So nothing personal, but that is what I think about the whole thing. Anyway, appreciate you guys.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing. Ryan must be very, very careful. I advise that Ryan leave boxing, and I advise he take a page out of Jake Paul's book and go fight MMA guys, because you can't make 140 and you can't beat Boots. We know that. You're not beating that guy. So he can be what you want him to be, Eden, so long as he's not a boxer.
I agree with you. He needs to have his own talk show where I'm the guy in the band. Late night. That's what he should do.
What I want to see from
like Guillermo on Jimmy Kimmel. You know Jimmy Kimmel, like that, like the guy that the stuff.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to do. I'm having a whole new way of doing things. Anyway, not to cut you guys off. I'm fired up.
I know you got to go. Neutral. I just want to say real quick. Listen, for Roidyan Garcia, I need Roidyan Garcia versus Errol Spence, Derek James on a pole match.
Oh yeah. Ladder
That's what I
Derek
Sounds good
James.
to me.
Ladder Derek James match. Derek has to sit in the ladder in the ring at
Yes.
the top of the ladder, and you know they box around the ladder. You know they do their thing.
Yeah.
Neutral.
Listen,
Always a
guys.
pleasure.
Thank you so much, each and every one of you. Fantastic. I've enjoyed the whole show. Listen, guys, Neutral's going to give you a sum up. At the end of the day, the stuff has been found in his system. He's got to explain it away. At this point, let's just wait for May the 22nd when that B sample is going to get done and dusted and all the arguing can stop and things will be done at the end of the day according to protocol, which hopefully is going to be back within boxing very soon because we're severely lacking it at it. Gentlemen, thank you once again. This is Neutral's Corner Hardtalk USA, and thank you to my sponsors, D-Rock Apparel. Go to the website, have a little browse around the range. You'll be very surprised. Johnny Nelson, Joseph Parker, I've got kitted out in the stuff. 40% off iBoxingHub 24 using the discount code. Until next time, gentlemen, thank you.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag by the end. Say, oh, it's another